Hey there, I'm Jennifer Angel, Professional Astrologer. Welcome. This is my Planetary Politics series. So, leading up to the end of the year, who knows? Maybe it'll just stay as if you love it, then and you're tuning in, then maybe I'll keep it as an ongoing series. But for right now, I just finished a video of President Trump's shooting, whether you feel that he was just lucky or whether it was divine intervention. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about that. If you go ahead and have a listen to that and let me know what you think, and then you can find out what I think about it and what the chart is saying. So now, to kick the series off, I'm going to be looking at leadership qualities for all the players. Okay, we're going to start today with President Donald J. Trump. We will be looking at J.D. Vance, President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and Kennedy, and whatever comes up. So, and then of course we're going to be looking at the transit, and perhaps even international players too, if they come up. So it's exciting. I'm excited about the series. I hope you love it. Please go ahead and subscribe and share. That would be a great way to support me. I'd appreciate that. All right, so let's go in and have a look at it, because there's certain areas in a chart, birth chart, that really just show your character, shows your leadership qualities, how you can step up, how you relate to people. So, just heads up to do a full chart. If you've never had a full astrological profile done, does take some time. I spend like about an hour, 40 to 60 minutes beforehand, just prepping it. And then really it takes like 90 minutes, sometimes 2 hours, just to give it. Many, many layers to an astrological chart. It's a deep study with many areas of study as well. Not any one astrologer knows everything, okay? So I'm going to try to keep these, or aim to keep these videos at 10 minutes, because I know that, nobody has a lot of time to be, so I'm going to give you the heads up on it, all right? All right, so heads up. Let's go in and just share the screen and have a look at here we go. So this is President Trump's chart here, born on June the 14th, 1946, Queens, New York. And I do have his time here. I, don't know how correct that is, but, looking at him and studying him over the time, I think, yes, it is. It is pretty correct. It makes sense to me. So let's have a look at the sun, the moon, and the rising for the leadership. And we're going to go in much deeper as we get along with the series. All right, but just to explain, to do a little explanation. So the sun sign, and President Trump's sun sign is in Gemini. Okay, so the sun sign is more the character. Like they're like the innate zodiac sort of traits, and a lot of strength that comes from the sun sign. Is any sun sign better than the other? No, of course not. They just have different traits, different strengths, different skills, okay? So, but it's more about the character. And I'm going to come back to this. And then the moon sign is more about how you relate emotionally, okay? So, I'll come back to that too. And then let's just move on to explain the rising. So, for instance, if like sun sign in Gemini, if President Trump was born at sunrise, then the sun would be rising over Gemini. It goes right around, rises right around the zodiac, the constellation, once every 24 hours. So every 2 hours, it's going to change. So this is the reason why us astrologers are always want the accuracy on the time, okay, because the time then sets what the sun's rising over, okay? And you might have heard it spoken about or related to as the ascendant as well, and that relates to the degree. So now we're going to look at what, because President Trump was born 4 hours or so after the sunrise, then it's going to be in a few signs past the Gemini. I hope that makes sense. So that gives him a Leo rising. All right. Okay. So now that we've got that explanation, let's just go back and start with the sun. So the qualities of a Gemini sun. Oh, before we go to that. So, once you get that time right and you get that, rising, that then it becomes the first house. Okay. So each of these little areas, sections here, around here, represent a different house, and each house represents a different rulership, planetary rulership. A different sun sign occupies it or, governs it in the solar chart, and it represents a different area in your life. Okay, so up here, for instance, with the sun in Gemini in the 10th house, the 10th house is your career. So it's how you show up to the world with your career. What is the difference that you make in the world through business and through your career? Okay, so, and there's other, and there's, 2 other influences in here as well, but let's not get off track, as I said, otherwise we could be here for hours talking about the chart. Okay. So the sun in Gemini is Gemini rules the 3rd house, and it's ruled by Mercury. So it's all about communication. So the 3 big areas for Gemini are communication, education, and creativity. So highly creative, being able to think like on their feet as well. So they're very good Geminis of gathering information, like they know a lot about a lot of things, like they're big readers, they're like studiers, they're highly creative. If they can't do it in one way, they're going to find another way, okay? Because it's in the 10th house here, then it shows perseverance in the career and business area. What's great also from a presidential leadership view for a Gemini in the 10th house is that Geminis are air signs. So they can just pick up and think on their feet. So for instance, if he's doing a presentation or a rally or press, conference or whatever, and something happens to the teleprompter, then no worries, okay, because he can recall. The Gemini can recall information quickly and accurately and just keep going. Like nobody would even know unless he told you the teleprompter had stopped working, then you wouldn't even know, okay? So this, I think, is like a really, really great, and it's the gift of communication and educating people. So this, I think, is a really, really good presidential leadership quality, right? Then let's go down to the moon. And like later on in, other series, we're going to talk more about the degrees as well. But you'll see here, this cluster is all together, conjunct, and then right opposite the sun, his sun and moon are like right opposite. So, down here, 21 degrees and 22 degrees. And the moon, as I said, is more emotional, how you deal with things emotionally. And in the sign of Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, and we all love Jupiter because that's a planet of abundance and expansion and beneficiary and very positive. So anything to do with Jupiter has like a really positive spin to it. But here's the thing here. First of all, this house that it's in, the fourth house, is about home and family. It's about nurturing. It's more compassionate. And for President Trump, the family, I mean, as we've seen, his family is very, very important, okay? But it's more than that. His family is the USA, okay? So to him, that's like the whole family. And how this shows up here in Sagittarius is visionary. It takes in the world. It's a global energy. And it's, as I said, it's highly visual. It's a highly spiritual. It brings in the God energy of the source energy to connection. And because it's the moon, it brings it in at a heart level. So, we know President Trump to be, a spiritual or a God, he connects with God. And so this is really where that comes from as well. The other thing that's great about this, I feel, for qualities, a leadership quality of a president, which is sort of not seen in politics a lot of the time, is this Sagittarian energy is like the truth serum. I mean, like a Sagittarian will just give it to you straight. And like, girls, for instance, here's an analogy for you. I mean, if you ask your spouse or your boyfriend, it's like, honey, do you think I've put on too much weight to wear this dress, or does my butt look big or whatever? Be careful, because if it's a Sagittarian or someone who has a strong Sagittarian influence in their chart, they're going to tell you exactly what you want, exactly what they feel, okay? So this element here, and because it comes from the heart with the moon, it's like they've taken a truth serum. They're going to tell you as it is, okay? And that, I think, is such a refreshing element for a political leader. And we've seen that with President Trump. Okay, now let's go over to the rising in Leo. So Leo, who knows a Leo? Like, the sun, it's ruled by the sun. They're the center of their own universe. They step out, the great, there's a lot of Leo. In fact, the most president sign ever going back is Leo and Aquarius. So, they're natural showmen. And of course, we've seen this with President Trump as well. But there's something else to consider here. You see this 2959 degree. So as a transit is just getting to the end, like it's 30 degrees, okay? So as it's getting close to 30 degrees, like that 29 degree, and as it moves into the next sign, and it's at a 0 degree, you get that combined energy, and it's called a critical degree because it's intensified, okay? So, I mean, studies tell us that one of the greatest fears people have is public speaking. And but a Leo or someone who's a strong Leo, and he has two other influences here in Leo as well, like the Mars is like just courage, just straight courage and conviction. And so, the Leo doesn't have any trouble getting up there, and the Leo is the true leadership sign. Once again, very, very good qualities for a president. Agree? Okay, so I'm going to stop it here. As I said, we can spend hours and hours just looking at a chart, and I will be looking at different areas, like, motivation for the first of all. I'm just going to do these 3 leadership qualities for each of the major players. Then we'll come back and we'll look at transits, what's coming up for them, and we'll look at different areas like their home, their commitment, their motivation, how they connect with people, how charismatic they are, how much they care about the other people that they're governing. So there's lots of different areas, and we can get a good look at who is astrologically, who's going to be our best president. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Please share and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.